Hello and welcome to the second ghost story of tonight. This one is to replace the one I should have done yesterday but didn't get the chance. Now, the other day, I took a group of fresher students from Durham University around on a ghost walk, and as I was taking them around, it reminded me of the time when I was a student at Hoffel College. At the time, when it first started, I was on YTS and that I was 16-year-old. We had to stay at the college once a week, every 3 months for a full week. You could board or you could travel in. The, the first few times, most of us just boarded. We were young, 16-year-old. It was fun. And we were getting away from the family and from the house for a week. Now, when you were boarded in, you didn't know which rooms you were going to get. The very first time I stayed was on an introduction. And we were sent to Hamsley. Hamsley is not the woods over in Weedale, but Hamsley is a set of blocks. Each block is named after an area around the northeast. Hamsley, Weedale, Teesdale, Lanchester, Bransford, so on. The block what I first stayed in was Hamsley. There was bedrooms upstairs and there was bedrooms downstairs. Anyway, one night we were about to go to the pub. Yes, we were only 16, but we'd found a pub what let us in. As we come down the stairs, the light which led up the stairs went off. So this was strange, and one of our friends was still upstairs, so we switched the lights back on, waiting for him. He came out of the room, and as he walked down the stairs, the lights went off. You heard the click as though somebody had switched the lights off. We were confused and panicked. We ran out the building. As we did so we came out, and then we decided we'd go back in. We went in, switched the lights on, and walked halfway up the stairs, but then the lights went off again. Again, we heard the click. We were halfway up the stairs, so none of us was neither switch at the bottom, and none of us was neither switch at the top, but there was a click as though somebody had switched the lights off. We ran out of that room, out that safe building, very fast. Now jump forward a few years, and I was a student on my first year at Hoffel. Again, we were put in different rooms, and I spent most of my time in a block in Weedale. But then I moved from Weedale, and I went into Bransford block. Again, I was in there a few months from the start of the Easter recession right way through to the summer. Now, there was one night I was in bed. As I lay in bed and turned the way I usually facing the window, I saw behind me, being cast from behind me where there was no light, a shadow on my wall, as though somebody was standing in my room. Now, this shadow, what I could see on the wall, was moving about a little bit, not very much, but I could see it moving about. This did terrify me. I lay there watching the shadow, and I don't know if it was sort of a build up of anxiousness or terror itself, but I lay there and I could feel fear coming over me. I got this feeling of fear that do not turn around. That night, from 12 o'clock, I lay looking at the wall, watching this shadow dance on the wall in front of me from 12 o'clock till 6 a.m. in the morning when the sunlight came up. As soon as the sunlight came up, I turned straight around. There was nothing there behind me. I don't know to this day what happened, but I know I did feel immense terror, something I've never felt before or since, but it was very frightening. Once, I had an interest in the paranormal for quite a while, but I'd never heard anything about like this. But later on, listening to tales, I heard of a thing called a shadow person or shadow creature, where the shadows or shadow creatures would move. Strangely, you would think it was a shadow cast from a street light or a lamp, but the shadow would move in a way uncommon to normal shadows. And also, the shadow would be darker in colour than a normal shadow. So, tonight, when you go to bed, if you stare at the walls or look at the bottom of the bed, if you see a shadow that looks a bit darker than a normal shadow and then suddenly moves very strangely, put your head under the covers and pray for the morning. Good night.